A tank will wear out a set of tracks every 2,000 miles, and they cost over $50,000 to replace. Modern tanks are too heavy to be made amphibious, so rivers are a major obstruction. To circumvent this problem, the Leopard 2 can snorkel underwater with the crews sealed inside the vehicle, employing a special tube to provide air to the engine and crew. High speed makes a tank difficult to hit during combat. The Leopard 2 can attain cross-country speeds up to 45 miles per hour, with its torsion bar suspension dampening the jostling of rough terrain. The Leopard 2, perhaps the best combination of armor and firepower on today's battlefield, proudly carries on Germany's excellence in tank design.
Did you know that Germany also have a Leopard medal? Now this is a German World War II Panzer Veterans Association NAC medal. Now notice the Leopard inscription with a Leopard tank. And this is the back side. Okay, let's go back to Irvin Baxter and Germany.
I thought, are you telling me, God, that Germany is the Leopard? Well, then I began to investigate, because it says in the prophecy that dominion was given to the Leopard. Well, I was trying to think in terms of present condition. I thought, well, the United States has been dominant. Russia's been pretty dominant. But who else could be said to have dominion? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me that there's one nation that started the last three major wars. The Franco-German War of 1870, World War I, and World War II were all plotted, planned, and started by one nation, the nation of Germany. Well, shortly thereafter, I was reading an article in the newspaper. Actually, it was in Newsweek magazine, April the 9th of 1984. And there was an article on Europe, and they had a section on Germany. This section was titled, "The German Malady." Listen to what it says. Since the time of Charlemagne, the area that is now Germany has been the pivot of European history. 20 years, the Germans have dominated Europe intellectually, industrially, and militarily. Now notice the word dominated. The passage, the prophecy says that dominion was given to the leopard. Germany has been the heart of Europe over the last 1,000 years or so. Consequently, when we think of the leopard tank and Germany having dominion, it helps us to identify who the leopard actually is. Now, there's one other thing we really need to look at here, Eddie. We need to pause a moment to realize how dominant Germany was during World War II. If it had not been for an act of God, Adolf Hitler would have conquered the world. It's an incredible story. What happened was the German armies were in a pincer movement against the English Channel, and they were grinding the Allied armies to mincemeat. According to the rise and fall of the Third Reich, the Allies would have had to sue for peace on Hitler's terms within 3 days. It's an amazing story. Winston Churchill actually called a day, a worldwide day of prayer and fasting, because the situation was so precarious. Well, the troops were moving forward. The famous Blitzkrieg attack of the German Nazi forces were moving forward, and they were unstoppable. All of a sudden, the mad corporal, Adolf Hitler, says, "Wait a minute. This is happening too easy. I must be falling into a trap." And he called all of his generals back to command headquarters for consultation. Well, while they're consulting back at headquarters, Great Britain mobilized every boat she had, and back and forth across the English Channel she went, day and night. In the meantime, fog hung over the English Channel so that German air reconnaissance was impossible. And the Allies pulled out 350,000 men, the heart of the Allied army. They were safely across the English Channel into Great Britain, and they lived to reinvade Germany a while later. Now, what's so interesting is how God can take the heart of a ruler and mold it at his own will. I can just imagine Hitler laying in his bunker about 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's dead asleep. And all of a sudden, an angel slips into the bunker and says, shakes his mattress and says, "Adolf, you are falling into a trap." I can imagine him coming straight up out of bed, rubbing his little mustache, getting my generals, and Germany was defeated that easily. This just shows, sometimes we think that God's on his last plan or that he's biting his fingernails. Not true at all. I am telling you that in the midst of all the chaos our world is in right now, Almighty God is in absolute and perfect control, and we should never forget that.
Now, the leopard, one of the characteristics that was a little unique about it, as far as Daniel's 7 beasts are concerned, is it had 4 heads. Why would the leopard have had 4 heads?
Well, it's interesting, especially since no other beast had more than 1 head. The lion 1 head, the bear 1 head, the 10-horned beast 1 head, but the leopard had 4 heads. Why? That's a big question. Well, we learn from our other studies in prophecy, and we won't take time to go there right now, but we learn that a beast in Bible prophecy always symbolizes a kingdom or a nation. Multiple heads on a beast symbolize the number of times that nation will rise and fall. There have been 3 rise and falls of Germany right now, and we're in the 4th one. There's the First Reich. The word Reich means kingdom. The Second Reich, Hitler's Third Reich, which is very famous. All of us are familiar with Hitler's Third Reich. And the Fourth Reich, which is right now rising. There's a book written, and I have the cover of it here for you to see. The cover of the book says, "The Fourth and Richest Reich, How the Germans Conquered the Post-War World." This was written by an American by the name of Edwin Hartrich, and he is contending that Germany has done economically what she could not do using military force.
There's one other beast, the last beast in this chapter, is a beast like no other. Daniel did not liken it to a bear or some known beast. It was something he had never seen, and it had 10 horns. Now, there's another symbol.